You ever stop and think about it? How did we get from, counting rocks to building rockets? From the abacus to AI? Well, the answer? It's probably not what you're thinking. So let's just dive right in. So, what was it? It wasn't about finding bigger numbers or even building faster tools. Nope. The answer is a symbol for nothing. Yeah, nothing. A concept so tiny, so completely empty that for centuries, people were actually afraid of it. This is the story of how a number that means nothing ended up making, well, everything possible. Okay, so to really get just how powerful this idea is, we have to go back. Let's try to imagine a world completely without it. A world where math was just clumsy. It was super limited, totally trapped. I mean, think about ancient civilizations, right? Like the Romans. These guys could build massive empires, incredible aqueducts. But when it came to math, their progress just kind of stalled. And it's not because they weren't smart, it was because their thinking was just too concrete. They were missing a symbol for emptiness. Just look at this. Seriously, try multiplying CXXIV by XLV. Go on, I'll wait. It's a total nightmare, right? But with our system, the one that has a zero, 123 times 47, it's pretty straightforward. And that simple difference, that right there, shows you the incredible roadblock they were up against. The real problem was philosophical. I mean, think about it. Their counting systems were all tied to physical things you could touch. 3 sheep, 10 jars of grain. So the idea that nothing could be a number, it felt totally weird, completely unnatural. Why would we need a name for something that isn't even there? And that single question, that mental block, held back science for centuries. So where did the breakthrough finally happen? Well, it wasn't in Rome. It wasn't in Greece. It came from the East. And this is where the entire revolution really kicks off. See, in India, the whole idea of zero was connected to this really powerful philosophical concept called shunya. Now, it meant emptiness or a void, but, and this is the important part, not in a bad way. Shunya wasn't just an absence of stuff. It was seen as a state of pure potential. And with that kind of worldview, the idea of zero suddenly felt, well, natural. It felt powerful. It felt essential. So you see, way back in the 5th century, mathematicians in India started treating zero as a real number, not just some placeholder. But then, in the 7th century, a mathematician named Brahmagupta took the next giant leap. He was the one who actually wrote down the first formal rules for how to do math with zero. And this was the game changer. For the very first time, nothing actually had structure. Zero wasn't just an empty space on an abacus anymore. It became a number that played by the rules. You could add it, subtract it, multiply with it. It could balance equations. It became a real, actual tool for math. But here's the thing. As this powerful new idea started to travel west, it wasn't exactly welcomed with open arms. In fact, it was seen as radical, strange, and even dangerous. So the concept made its way from India to the Islamic world, and the mathematicians there, they immediately got it. They saw its power right away. They translated all the Indian texts, made the system even better, and then passed it along. Fun fact, our word zero actually comes from their word for it, cipher, which means, you guessed it, empty. But then it hit medieval Europe, and Europe totally panicked. People were deeply suspicious of this zero. Merchants thought it was a tool for scammers. I mean, how easy would it be to just add a zero and turn a 1 into a 10, or a 10 into 100? And for the church, the whole idea of a void, or nothingness, was connected to chaos. Some even said the devil. The fear got so bad that some Italian cities, we're talking Florence in 1299, actually outlawed the use of these new numerals, especially zero, in their official books. They just couldn't bring themselves to trust a symbol that represented nothing. But you know how it is. Fear can only hold back progress for so long. A tool this useful, this powerful, you can't ignore it forever. So slowly, maybe even a little reluctantly, the world started to change. Think about it. Trade was going global. You had people trying to calculate interest, do complex accounting, navigate the seas, and Roman numerals just couldn't keep up. It made everything faster, clearer, and you could finally scale things up. And once zero finally took hold in Europe, everything just accelerated. It was like a switch was flipped. It was the key that unlocked the entire modern world of mathematics. I mean, just think about what it made possible. No zero, then you don't get negative numbers. You can't have a coordinate system with a central origin point. Things like algebra, calculus, modern physics, all of it, every single one of those fields, completely depends on the idea of zero to even work. It was the foundation for a massive scientific explosion. And what's really wild is that this ancient concept became the bedrock of our digital age. Every single piece of tech you're using right now, your computer, your phone, it's all built on a language of just two symbols, 1 and 0. So, okay, what does this ancient story really mean for us today? Well, the legacy of this nothing is quite literally everything around you. You can draw a straight line. It starts with this abstract idea, 0. That idea makes a binary system possible. And that system, it builds all of our digital technology. Your phone, the internet, AI, the whole shebang. It all falls apart without that simple little circle. Your entire world is built on 0. But it's even bigger than just technology. 0 represented a huge mental shift for us as a species. It forced us to get comfortable with abstraction, to trust a symbol more than a physical object. It made us believe that an absence could actually be meaningful. And that leap, it fundamentally reshaped how we see reality. And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. For centuries, what held humanity back wasn't a lack of tools, and it wasn't a lack of smarts. It was a fear of the unknown, a fear of nothingness. So the next time you see a 0, maybe give it a little nod. Remember its incredible journey. Remember that this tiny, empty circle once terrified entire civilizations. And remember that without it, the modern world you're living in right now just wouldn't exist.